none other than the esteemed Miss Rosasena Naika with us here today at ABC School of Learning. My first question to you is, you are a parent that sent your daughter here to ABC School of Learning and it's been 30 years. What is going on in your head? What does it feel like?
See, I am one of those many mothers, out of many mothers, I'm one of those lucky ones to have sent my daughter to ABC School of Early Learning. She was the second batch, so this is 30 years ago. And I am so proud of the school where it has come to. I mean, this is a milestone. It's not just an early learning center anymore. It has a preschool, then it has inclusive education included into it. I think this is one of the schools that has such facilities. And the fact that they also adopted Think Equal. And, for me, early learning and early childhood is of paramount importance for any human being because the first 5 years is very crucial for any human, because that's the 5 years that your brain development, 75% to 90% of your brain development takes place in those 5 years. So in those 5 years, if you do not give your child the right education, the right childhood, the right environment, it is going to reflect on that human being's the rest of the life. So even if you take UNICEF is putting a lot of emphasis on building brains, building future. And building brains, building future starts in the early childhood area. So if you do not give that foundation in the first 5 years, you will have a lot of perhaps drawbacks in life. So early school of ABC School of Early Learning has all the qualifications, it has the structure, it has from the curriculum to the facilities to the teachers to the training to practically everything. It's a very holistic early learning development center. So for me, I would like to congratulate first the two founder members, Ayoma and Rubini, because Ayoma and Rubini has done a wonderful job in making my daughter who she is and many more kids over the years. And today they have more than 120 students. They started with 8 students. I think when Radhya was in school, they had about 40 to 50, and then it grew. So congratulations to ABC School of Early Learning.
Of course, that was so insightful, ma'am. Thank you so much. My final question, I'm going to let you go. I feel like being a 20-year-old in Sri Lanka, when everybody asks me, what do you think the path to success in Sri Lanka at least, or how can we get out of this stuck situation, right? I always say education, because that's something I believe in. What is your perspective? Do you think to, grow Sri Lanka into a successful country in a few years from now? I believe it's the next generation that has the key to doing that, and education is definitely a tool to do that. What is your perspective on this?
To me, education is the key. I've always said this in my speeches as a politician over and over again, even when I was in Parliament, even when I was the State Minister for Child Affairs. Unless and until a country would invest in human capital, that country cannot come out of where it is. If you are to see success, if you are to see development, if you are to become a global player, then you have to invest in human capital. So I've always said this, I've always stressed on it, where in countries, whether it's the public and the private sector together, work hand in hand and put in enough money into education. And when we talk about education also, I would go back to early childhood training, because the UNICEF's concept of building brains, building future. If you want to build a future, a successful future, and to be a global player, then you have to build brains. And building brains is in the first 5 years. So early childhood education is of paramount importance, in my opinion. For me, no country can, very especially Sri Lanka, we're going through an enormous economic struggle. In order for us to come out of this, invest in education. So human capital to me is the key.
Oh, that is so rightly said. I'm sure you inspired a lot of people out there, parents and children alike. Thank you so much for everything that you do. It's truly appreciated. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Same to you. Thank you.
Took her on. Now she has children of her own, and she's also teaching.
with us none other than a very special lady who is known very commonly as Auntie Sugi or Sarangi Munavira, who is the principal and directress of ABC, a school of early learning. First of all, you spoke out then, it was amazing. And something that you kept speaking of is inclusive education. For everybody out there that doesn't know what inclusive education is, just tell me a little bit about it.
It's about children born with learning disabilities, okay? Slow learners, we call them. We don't tag them, right? So these kids really are looked down upon in society, and the mums and dads sometimes live in denial that their kid has little issues, and they don't want to, show their kid off to anyone and hide them. So now they've opened out and they know that the child needs to be educated to some level, because the child needs to live on beyond the father and mother, okay? So we need to educate the child, give him basic education and skill building. But what I mean by skill building is where you teach them to sit, to stand, to use a washroom, to eat on their own, because those are skills they lack. So parents are so busy with their jobs and also depressed with a kid like that because they can't put it right. Most of the kids are with speech delays, so it becomes very difficult for a mom and father. And also the Asian culture is such that they point fingers at you. You know, it's like they say, you know, it's because of your wife that the kid is born like this. Nothing to do like that, you know. We have to take responsibility for the child. Now, where ABC comes in is because we have opened up and we have a unit called the skill building class, where we take children with learning disabilities, slow learners, and kids like with Down syndrome, autism, and various other conditions. And we groom them, we train them to fit into mainstream life, right? So that's what we do, and that's called inclusion, is because we get them to interact with the typical child, and then learn from the typical child, so that we know that when he goes out into society, he will know how to handle his behaviors and also be able to read a board. The minimum is to read a board. Some of them will also go up to doing O-levels, but that's a bit rare. But some of them do, and some don't, and they go into vocational training and things like that. So inclusion is where you teach a child with a learning disability along with a typical child, so that that child is given an opportunity in life.
I think that's all that matters. That's all that matters in terms of education, giving a child an equal opportunity, giving a child to blossom. And that exactly is what ABC Early School of Learning has been doing for 30 years. What does it feel like? It's been 30 years. It's such a long time of nurturing children. What does it feel like? You gotta be proud to be standing here celebrating 30 years.
Like I told you that, you know, it's the children who pay the school, where we pay back to the teachers and all. And that I've told the teachers is that they have to honor that. And I have the best set of teachers. See, they're superb. They work with the heart. That's what's important, not the rupees and cents. When it's early childhood education, it's about working with the heart. Because we are the children's mothers and aunties other than their mother. When they enter our gates, they are ours. And when we give them back, they're yours. Okay. Anyway. Anything else you want to know?
I guess you covered everything. I mean, ABC, a School of Early Learning, sounds like a safe haven for all children, which is what's most important. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm tired, so I may have not come out with the best of the best.
Oh, I'm sure it was incredible. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening. We got with us two very, very special people without whom today would have not been possible. We have Miss Rupini and Miss Ayoma, who are actually the co-founders of this amazing, amazing education center or pre-learning education center. First of all, 30 years. Oh my goodness, that's gotta be something you're super proud of. Talk to me a little bit about it. What's going on in your head now, right now? What does it feel like to have an establishment that is 30 years old?
So, well, I mean, to be honest, I didn't realize, it's been like only the other day, because I suppose we packed so much into our 30 years. And when Ayoma said, do you know, Rupini, it's going to be 30 years, I said, oh gosh, Ayoma, I didn't realize it, but anyway, but it's a super proud moment. At the moment, I can't say how elated I am, and just proud that that we were able to stick together, because very often people don't stick together. After 30 years, as friends.
They say doing
Business with friends is so it's nice that we've managed to be together for so long, and of course another 30 years, as somebody says.
Yes, we started as a partnership. When we decided to do the school, it was more like a hobby, and we called it ABC Playhouse. And then when the demand was there, we decided to launch ABC School of Early Learning and established our company, Kids Institute Private Limited. So it's been a very rewarding journey, especially when we see these kids today. And the first day when I walked in, I was really nervous, and my mom actually was there the first day. Rupini was pregnant with Anishan.
My only son, my son. And,
yes. So she had bed rest, and that morning I was so nervous, I told my mom, please can you come? I don't know how to look after these other children. And so that was the beginning of our journey. And I must say we have really accomplished a lot in these 30 years. Like I said before, we started another school, we went into daycare, we went into inclusive education, and we are also launching a new thing. This has been my dream for 30 years. Like Gymboree, we're starting a Gym Tots program. So it's like Tumble Tots in UK. So that's another new thing for ABC. So we are very proud to be here today to celebrate this milestone.
And I remember this, we also, ABC School of Early Learning, the early learning part of it was because we had a lot of equipment, can you remember, from Early Learning Center. So and at that time, Early Learning Center, getting in UK, getting the stuff down was very difficult. But since we used to do a bit of traveling, we used to bring a lot of things from Early Learning Center, and they were very educational stuff that we used to bring, and they were very strong wooden toys. So
it was difficult to find furniture and everything, but whenever my husband or you traveled or whatever, he used to put a shipment in, and that's how we survived. But now you can go to Mother Care, you can go online, Kids Cart, Kids Unlimited, whatever. But when we started, we had a problem.
But I guess what's beautiful about this place is that you, overthrew all of those challenges. You overcame all of those challenges, and you are here today. And I think what makes me the happiest being here is seeing so many of the older alumni and the children come back, and they've accomplished, of course. And that just shows that you're doing so much to Sri Lankan education, which we are so proud of, and we're so grateful to you for. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. It's been such a pleasure being here. It's been such a pleasure talking to you as well. We got with us Radhya and Sakya, who are some of the first students of ABC Early School of Learning. It's been 30 years, and you guys have achieved so much in life. What sort of credit do you give your preschool or your foundational education?
To be honest, initially I had no idea that we were going to school in the first place. My mom totally coerced me into going to this place called ABC. She said it'll be super fun. You'll have the more. No, I got reminded this morning by way too many people. So clearly, I had a fantastic childhood, and I have become the man who I am today, which is a executive secretary to my father, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. And no, I'm kidding. I'm utter sarcasm. I'm bullshitting. Anyway, to be honest, this really did give me the foundational step I needed, and Auntie Ioma and the team here did such a good job with giving us actually people who we've been friends with for life. Like Radhya, I can say I've truly been with friends for life, and we were in the second batch, by the way, so there was the entire batch above us, and seeing all these old faces, they are not too old actually, to be honest. So we. I got that. Okay, thank you very much.
Wait, you're not done. Really quickly, 30 years, it's been such a long ride. What is it, if you ever had children, would you consider this preschool, and why so?
Because this is where we're actually all family friends, and literally I think our parents trusted Auntie Ioma and Auntie Rubini to kind of instill a foundation in us, and this is where we actually feel at home, because whether we leave preschool or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because like I said, Zaki has been stuck with me for life, and so has everyone else. So it's kind of like family. Just to be able to be 30 or 31 or 32 or 35, it doesn't matter, and have the need to actually come back and pay tribute to where we started.
That's so beautiful, and I think that's all that matters as well. Thank you so much for being with me. It's such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got with us Nyla, who is one of the first students of ABC School of Learning back 30 years back, actually. And now she's established her profession. She's an established software engineer. Talk to me a little bit about how you think this preschool or this center of early education helped you today.
Well, I think it's actually so important to give young children that space to play and to have fun. I think kids are forced into education and trying to achieve at exams and stuff really early on. And what ABC gave me was just the freedom to be a child, to have fun, to play. I still remember some of the fun games we used to play back in the day. And I think having the emphasis on fun being reinforced at a young age, it's something that adults forget. And I think having the grounding somewhere like ABC is really important to, ensure a bit of happiness as you get older as well.
I think that's all that matters, right? Happiness and education both put together, which is why it's cherished for so long as well. Is there anything you want to say to everybody out there with regards to early education? You are somebody that's very educated yourself. Why do you think it's important to have that foundation of good education in the first stages of life at least?
So I think that's important because if you can instill curiosity in a child, you are going to guarantee yourself an adult that's going to continue learning. And for me, ABC was one of the places where I really learned how to be curious and how to have fun learning. And I think learning is only effective really when it's fun, right? That's the beauty of places like this. And if you can get that instilled at a young age, then I think, magic will happen as you grow older.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a good evening, okay?